Hello, friends. Welcome back to Trending. Today is Thursday, November 16th. It's about 9:15. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We missed last week. There's just a lot going on. So
We did. I was out of town. You're busy, but we're back at it. Even though it's a busy day today.
Yes.
We want to be here for you, you know?
We can't go 2 weeks without an
That's
episode,
right.
So.
It's because we have a pleasant, would you say that we have a pleasant work environment?
Yes, I would.
A lot of fun.
Yes.
A lot of banter. That's not what's going on in Congress, apparently, this week.
Yeah. So a little behind the scenes. Usually I come to this with like kind of an idea of what we're going to talk about. And sometimes I tell you what we're going to talk about and sometimes I don't.
Yes.
And you're just fresh off the top. We've got family staying with us this week and there's a lot going on here at church.
Yes.
Our house is kind of chaotic. So today I was like, Joe, what do you want to talk about? So this is kind of your deal today. I don't even know what's going on in the world. I'm very out of left field.
Yes.
You could tell me anything and I'd probably believe you.
Yes. Okay. Well, they did find UFOs. No, I'm just
Okay.
Right.
What are we talking about today, Joe?
I mean, this is not significant, but I've never seen anything like this. And I haven't been around very long, but this is still pretty stunning. But I guess Kevin McCarthy elbowed Tim Burchett, a couple of House of Representative guys, in the kidney as he was being interviewed in a crowded hallway. Of course, McCarthy denies it and then says if I did it, he'd be on the ground, type of stuff. And then this Mark Wayne Mullen guy was in a Senate hearing. Imagine it, like with Senator Bernie Sanders convening. Mm-hmm. I guess the head of the Teamsters union was there, and there was some Twitter banter between them before the face-to-face.
Okay. And
you could see it like Mark Wayne's trying to lure him into a fight on the Senate floor. Gosh. And you just thought, okay, maybe he was just kind of hot under the collar in the moment. No, I guess he made the rounds on the social medias and the media outlets saying, yeah, I wish it would have happened. And even to this, I'm not against biting somebody. I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So
wow.
I just feel like they're under some stress.
Yeah.
It's time for the holiday week, so
they
can go home and kind of recover, hopefully, and cooler heads would prevail. So anyways, it was just stunning. So I have never thought about getting into an altercation with somebody at this workplace. Anyway, so stuff had to really go down. I don't know.
I've just been amazed this year. Again, I hate talking about politics, and we're not trying to pick any side here. Regardless of where you stand politically, politics is a mess.
Yeah.
I think it's worse now than even the past handful of years when it's been a mess.
Right.
Nobody can get along. Nobody's getting anything done.
Right.
It's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing.
Right.
So I didn't even know about all that, but as you saw that stuff coming up this week, what do we do with that?
It just seems to be a gestalt. I mean, there was a big fight in the NBA. 2 minutes into the game.
Right.
Good old Draymond Green.
Yep. He's Draymoning.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was a stat. Not that a lot of our audience cares, but Draymond, his last 10 ejections from a game, which is a point to consider in and of itself.
Yes.
So the last 10 times he's been ejected from a game, 7 of those is when Steph has not been in the lineup. And so Gobert had this great zinger. He's like, I guess he doesn't want to play if Steph's not in the lineup.
It's crazy. It's just insane.
I don't know. So there must be something in the air. Let's just try to be kind and considerate to one another. There's going to be a lot of people traveling this next week. They're expecting a very high spike in air traveling, which is going to bog everybody down, longer lines, maybe some delays because who knows what the weather's going to do. And so let's just take a deep breath. Let's be good news.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth during this Thanksgiving week coming up. Yeah.
Do you kind of feel like the last, I don't know, 8 years, however long it's been, it just feels like everybody is just ratcheted up. Everyone's just on edge. Are we kind of at a tipping point where congressmen and NBA players and all of us are just not very much, it doesn't take very much to set us off. I haven't gotten in any fistfights recently or ever, but I just feel this tension in the air of everyone's just on edge. Yeah. And it's Thanksgiving week. We're supposed to be grateful and spend time with family and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there's that looming, but there's also just this tension that I think a lot of people are feeling. Are we just getting to that boiling point where we're getting to that point?
I mean, there's a lot of people, a whole lot more educated and indoctrinated this stuff could comment on this. But a lot, I think, has to be considered before you get into an altercation. To say this is going to solve something that I need to have solved right now. I think there has to be a lot of negotiating away of other opportunities than that.
Yeah.
I do feel like people at some point just feel like it's like a zero-sum game. Like either I need to get my way now or never. And so I think that's when things get escalated. And that's just sad because the wisdom way would say, no, there's more than one path than a physical confrontation. And so I just wish that all of us would take upon ourselves to learn the way of wisdom and maybe find a better solution. And then maybe more productive ways to deal with our anger. Anger is not a sin, okay? Paul says, in your anger, do not sin.
Yeah.
Right? And anger, according to Dallas Willard, he would just say, it's just your body telling you you're not getting what you want.
Right.
Okay, which that can happen to any of us. The most calm, serene, mature person doesn't get what they want sometimes.
Yep.
And so in that moment of anger, when your body's saying you're not getting what you want here, can we have other ways of addressing it than thinking of, combative behavior, either verbal or physical in nature? So, yeah.
Well, like we mentioned, Thanksgiving is next week. But by the way, we won't have an episode next week. We'll be off next week. So,
do you remember the good old days when we actually had a Thanksgiving episode? We got those TV dinners.
Yes, those were good days.
That was before we had like building stuff.
Yes, right.
Holiday impact coming up. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So as we enter into Thanksgiving, I guess for people watching, Thanksgiving kind of has that reputation of being a time when families get together. Things come up and there might be some difficult conversations. Like whenever there's a big family gathering, it's possible that things might erupt, right? So if we want to be kind people, again, we're right in the middle of this Words Matter series. We've already talked about anger and confronting. Spoiler, you're talking about kind words this week.
Right. Which you said we don't need to be convinced that we need to use kind words. We just need to be reminded.
Yeah.
That's like...
We all know that, right? But it's very hard to do.
No, that's like fortune cookie... worthy saying right there. You and Confucius.
Right. So this is where I feel like we're missing your weekly. There's a quote by G.K. Chesterton or someone about this.
About kindness.
Just being kind people in the midst of conflict. What else? What's a biblical principle we can hold on? Or since this is kind of in the air and culture world, we're entering into Family Week where politics and division might come up. What for our friends watching today? What should we keep front of mind in the midst of all this?
I guess maybe a general idea. So something that wasn't conveyed to me until I went to seminary. So I had to spend all those seminary dollars to find something that was hidden in plain sight in the New Testament. I mean, Paul is trying to create a unified group of people called the people of God. So he just remember what God told Abraham. Abraham was called to have a family. That family would become a nation, and that nation would not build walls and isolate itself from people, but it would be a blessing to the earth. Yeah. And so in some way, as Paul was sorting out his vivid experience with Jesus on the Damascus Road, him being a Second Temple first century Jew, recognizing that the one creator God was trying to heal the world, the universe, he said the best way to apply that pastorally would be to plant communities of great diversity. And so at some point in most of his letters, he has this list of admonitions and imperatives of how to get along with one another. The fruit of the Spirit, which in the argument of Galatians is, since the people of God are not just Jewish people nationally, but the people of the Spirit, that begged a question, who are people of the Spirit? And he gave those 9 fruit of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5. All of them are done in community. We cannot do those in isolation. So there's no solo Christian working out the way of faith and going deeper in the rock with God without other people involved. And so in Paul's mind, a unified church was the greatest expression of faithfulness in the earth. And so if we get around a handful of people, there's going to be some differences, and therefore there's just going to be all of these crossroads of, do I need to have it my own way, or can I learn new skills to dwell with people who aren't like me? And so I just think Thanksgiving can be one of those times where we apply such behavior. So maybe not a Chesterton quote, but a pseudo Walt Whitman quote, which was the centerpiece of a great scene from season 1 of Ted Lasso, also known as the dart scene. Right? And he says to be curious and not judgmental. And so maybe the thing that I'll ask myself and our training audience to do, if you sense that there's going to be some tension around the family, which there doesn't have to be, I think we just assume there is. Right. Because it seems to be, what's going on in our culture right now. But if you do sense that, I haven't been around these, some of these usual suspects in a long time. I do feel like, according to their Facebook timelines, that we differ on some things.
Yeah.
Maybe the admonition would be this: learn something new about that one particular family member, and maybe they will follow. Maybe if you're curious about their life and you ask some like probing questions, not in an interrogation, but like in just a heartfelt way, like, I kind of wonder what's going on in their life lately. Perhaps we'd be pleasantly surprised that they're quite different than what we have typecasted them. Yeah. And then maybe that relationship will go better. There's a guy named Steve Cuss. He's actually a pastor. His Twitter, or now X, handle is cuss words. And why not? Like, I might as well just live into it. But he does a lot with family systems. And I think he may have been at the MB. He might have been at like an MB event recently. But he talked about this. His son came home. His son plays rec basketball, and Luke never passed to him on it. Luke, who's on his team, never passes to him, right? And so then he doesn't pass to Luke. So there's all this tension on the team. And so Steve Cuss gave him this admonition: the next 5 possessions, pass to Luke, and everything will be fixed. Yeah. And so I think that we just go into these tense moments in community. It's like, I don't think I'm going to like that person. Yeah. Therefore, we put off the vibe of not liking them. Right. And so maybe the mature Christian thing, like the master's degree, would be like, what if we actually engage with them genuinely? Yeah. And I think sometimes we can pick up on our like sonar system. When someone is like kind of, they just have this checklist of, I'm going to try to reach out to this person. Like, we can sense that it's fake, but maybe in a genuine way. Yeah. Ask better questions, open-ended questions, follow-up questions, and just devote ourselves. I want to know a new thing about this person. Yeah. By the end of my interaction with them. That's good. That could be a good thing.
I think that's really good.
Yeah. And I think maybe it could be like your nieces and nephews, like a generation down from you. That's the more fun process. Yeah. Be like, hey, like, how's school been lately? Oh, you're in robotics? Tell me about that. Like, does your robot have wheels? Like, or I don't know, like something that just opens up a more pleasant conversation. Yeah. And we'll do what this Kelly Flanagan guy that I've been reading lately, he calls it humaning. Like, humaning is just simply like, how can I relate to this person in a genuine way? Yeah. And I think that we could do that by, taking down the barriers, and then doing that question and response type habits and practices.
That's good. Yeah. I mentioned this before we started recording, but we had a staff meeting recently where Kyle Goings from staff shared. I should look this up because I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of there was some neuroscience somewhere that said that you physically can't be grateful and angry at the same time. Yeah. So I haven't fact checked that. I'm curious about that. I want to go look it up and see if that's true. But if that's true, it's kind of trite and oversaid this time of year especially, but just I found for myself, I've shared this with staff before too, I think I have a tendency to be easily jaded. I can get just overly frustrated when I really don't need to be. Like, I'm aware of that. That's a weakness I have. Right. But I think I have this weird tension where I'm also able to switch into gratitude pretty easily. Yeah. Like,
I can concur.
I just have so much to be grateful for.
And you're a buoyant personality. You're the bishop of levity.
I can float? What does that mean?
No, like a buoyant personality. Like when the tide comes in, you don't get sunken over by the pessimism. I think you do rise above it. Yeah. The bishop of levity, here, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Yes. But I think that there's something to that, man. Like, if they're just force yourself to switch into gratitude mode, and a lot of the trash gets easier to carry. It's just when you have gratitude with you. So. Yeah.
You know who was really good at that? So we kind of like a melancholy happy trails to Nate Schrader.
Perfect transition. I was going to do that too.
Who passed away this week. Yeah. He watched trending all the time.
Yes.
And by no means did he agree with us or everything. But I don't know about you, but he found a way to find me in the lobby on Sunday morning and talk about it further. Yeah. He suggested people that I could listen to that he enjoys. But he was good at this. I think he befriended. I think he wanted to disconnect, even with people way younger than him who may not agree with him. And so I'm going to miss him a whole lot. He was I mean, I've been here a lot shorter time than you have.
Yeah.
But I feel like any time I look around, like Nate was there.
Yeah.
He was helping out, always at worship.
Yeah.
And he always sometimes had like a grandkid or something like that. Like he did such a good job at that. And I want to like officially dub him as the patron saint of the Ridgepoint Wordlers Facebook page.
Very appropriate.
I think he was the first one to ace the Wordle first. I think he like genuinely like aced Wordle.
Probably so.
And he did it because he kept track of the words that were used.
Yeah.
So he could pick a different starting word. And then not only that, but he like shared that spreadsheet
Yes.
with the rest of the crowd so they can
updated daily.
Yeah. So like their chance of acing Wordle was just, higher and higher. And so many things we could say, but definitely a melancholy happy trails. But we know that he's received the reward of his faith, the gift of his salvation, but we're going to miss him.
Yeah.
He was just a great guy.
He was a great guy. I think he was such a unique person where, like, if Nate was obviously older, he was a farmer. He was surprisingly really good at technology. Like, he knew his way around computers and stuff. But he's the last person that I would expect to have such an impact on so many people on Facebook.
Yeah.
This week, there's just been this trail of memories and thanks and gratitude and memorializing Nate on this Facebook page. And like you said, he was really, really good at, if he disagreed with something that you or I said, he would come up, he'd find us, right? And he'd just have a little sparkle in his eye. And he'd be like, hey, I heard you say this. And then he would give his little take, right?
Yeah.
But he never missed an episode.
Yeah.
And you could tell, even though he disagreed with us, he was on our team.
Yeah.
And that is just a great example to follow.
Yeah.
So well done, Nate.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, what else? Anything else we need to wrap up with?
Nothing crazy. I mean, this is a busy time for the church year. Holiday Impact is right around the corner. We're going to hear more and more about some opportunities for us to be mobilized as the church. We've been taking Operation Christmas Child boxes. They're going to be hauled off this coming up Monday. So this is your last weekend to turn those in. But it's been neat to see a steady stream of people from other regional sites dropping their things off here. The semi just came in this morning.
There's a ton of boxes.
Yeah, and so that's been kind of cool. But there's just wonderful opportunities. The Thailand team's back. They're going to report back on Sunday night. SDYC is in the this is just going to be a busy place. So, like, if you come by here anytime this weekend, this is going to be just a massive humanity, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a flurry of activity. There's gonna be a buzz over the next few days. There's
Buzz. Buzzing, man. Like, you're starting to learn some hockey terms. Like when a team is like really getting close to scoring a goal, we say, "Oh, the boys are buzzing."
Nice. Okay. Well, I didn't even know it. You must be rubbing off on me unintentionally.
That's right. So. Osmosis, man. Setting in like Novocaine.
All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you speak on Sunday about kindness.
Yeah, man.
Perfect timing. We always need to hear that. So looking forward to that. So yeah, hope you can join us on Sunday, whether you're ever able to join us in person or online. Love to see you then. Off next week. We'll be back the following week.
Yep.
So,
okay. Have
a great week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.